Hey, so it looks like I'm live, and I just thought I'd come on today to talk about dryness. Siobhan had asked about nasal dryness. Is it a common symptom in menopause, and how can we help naturally? So it turns out it is actually quite a common menopause symptom, and something that perhaps gets overlooked because it's not the first thing you think of. A lot of us are aware that dry eyes and dryness internally, vaginally, can be an issue, but dry nasal passages can be associated with menopause. So why might this be? So a couple of things to think about if this is happening for you is to look at what's going on around you and to look at what we put in our body. So is there something environmentally that you've become sensitive to? Is there an allergen? Allergies do crop up in menopause. So that can be because our adrenal glands are doing more work than they used to, and they don't perhaps deal with allergens as well as they used to. So that certainly happened for me at some point, that I was more sensitive to certain things, and that would show up in my skin, that would show up in a kind of anxiety and overreactiveness to things. So that was a lesson to reduce stress in my life. To allow the adrenal glands to work more efficiently to produce the estrogen that they're going to be doing after menopause. So it's a transition period of time. And during perimenopause, early to late, your estrogen will be dropping off quite suddenly, quite sharply, and then it will build up again, and then it will level off. So it's a kind of leveling off, reorganizing, if you like, of hormones, because you just don't need so much estrogen post-menopause. And so rather than talk about all those things that are going on, yes, dryness can be a result of a drop in estrogen, but that doesn't mean to say that you've got to reach immediately for a synthetic estrogen. First, just check what's going on environmentally. Is there something that you've become sensitive to? Is there aircon that's upsetting you? If you moved into a new environment with aircon, lots of women find that pretty dehydrating. Excess alcohol, caffeine, smoking, those can all contribute to dryness of mucous membranes, so the eyes and the nose. Certain medications, so check that you haven't suddenly started taking something that has precipitated you into dryness. And potentially there could be a situation of low zinc, can be related to low vitamins A and B, and we certainly use up a lot of B vitamins during menopause, and they're water-based, and we need to replace them in our diet fairly frequently. I'm also currently seeing people needing more B9, which is folate, and more B12, because those two things help make and repair our DNA. And post-COVID, long COVID and post-COVID vaccine, I'm seeing irregularities in those B vitamins, and therefore people needing to balance that somehow. And I've seen it go both ways. I've seen depletion in B12, and I've seen excess B12. And I think the excess comes from the system trying to repair itself. So it is worth checking. Is there a lack of zinc, which we've definitely seen post-COVID, and is very much about hormonal balance for us? Is there a lack of B vitamins? Is there a lack of vitamin A? Vitamin A has a big function around supporting the liver. And again, the liver has struggled with long COVID, with COVID vaccines. So yeah, we could be deficiency in those areas leading to dry nasal passages. But, as I say, it's generally associated with that drop in estrogen, but can occur in relation to other things. So one of the things that I think would really help with that would be to make sure that you're taking adequate essential fatty acids. Now, this is a combination of fatty acids, 3, 6, 7 and 9. And it's got lots of different seed oils in it. So it's a really great balance, and it's called fatty acid complex. But you want something which is fairly potent. This is quite concentrated, many women in menopause need to take, you know, up to 3,000 micrograms of essential fatty acids daily. I was taking at one point. This is a combination called liquid gold complex, which has got, again, 3, 6, 7 and 9 in it, but has got sea buckthorn oil in it. That I'm finding is very good for things like vaginal dryness. So chances are it's very rich in the 7s, the omega-7s. So chances are that sea buckthorn would actually be helpful for dryness in other areas of the body. So dryness of the mucous membranes, basically, nasal, eyes, vaginal. I think sea buckthorn can be very helpful. A couple of other really interesting essential fatty acids in this, which are about brain health. So I tend to recommend this one for older people, things like brain fog going on, the winter months. It's got extra vitamin D in it from a plant source. So, you know, you're looking for something like that when it comes to your essential fatty acids or omegas. And they have an anti-inflammatory role. So if you've got dryness going on in nasal passages, chances are there's a bit of an inflammatory condition going on as well. So simple hydration isn't enough, although we do need to keep hydrated, and I would recommend getting fluoride and chlorine out of the water because they are, chlorine's dehydrating anyway, and fluoride is difficult for the body to deal with, so filter your water. If you're going to take extra zinc, I like to find out whether I really need to take something. So this is some zinc that I'm taking. I was travelling in Australia when I picked it up, so I haven't actually kept the packaging, but it's a good brand. I went to see my friend Eugenie Kruger, and she ran something called the Oligo scan for me. And what came up was that my vitamin and mineral profile was actually very good, but I was depleted in zinc. So I'm taking a bit of extra zinc. So you can find out if you've got a depletion in minerals. It's actually not too difficult to find that out. So you could see a practitioner or get something like the Oligo scan done. I don't know much about that. I'd quite like to find out if it's something I could add to my own practice. But the other thing when it comes to dryness in general, and we get a lot of questions about dry vaginally, is go up to the files section and download my doc on low estrogen and vaginal dryness, because there's lots of great tips in there. And one of the things that I did recently was go to see Desiree Diaz, who's a herbalist, to find out about yoni steaming. So she gave me a great packet of herbs, and it's full moon today when I'm doing this live, so it's a perfect time to do some yoni steaming. So you set a time, whether it's once a month, once a week. To do it around the full moon is nice if you've got still menstruating. But go and see someone to find out a little bit more about yoni steaming and to get some herbs specially prepared for you and your type to enhance all sorts of things vaginally and hormonally. And then she also gave me a womb tea to take. So I'll put her details down below, because anyone in the UK, she really knows her stuff about herbs for women and yoni steaming, which I'd wanted to find out about for ages. So we could have some homeopathic remedies for irritated, dry nasal passages. And my favourite and easiest one to get without actually going to see a practitioner would be Nat Muir tissue salts. So I'm going to put some links down below, but you'll find a link to a UK company where you can get Nat Muir tissue salts. If you're in the US, you can get them from iHerb. I'll put a link down below for iHerb's product. And I would suggest taking those 3 times a day for a couple of weeks and seeing if it makes a difference. Just homeopathy could be exactly what you need for something like dry nasal passages. So I've talked a little bit about one specific condition, and I wanted to answer Siobhan's question. And then I've kind of mentioned dryness when it comes to eyes. We might use different remedies, for instance, in that situation. I'd still be encouraging you to take essential fatty acids. We could actually use a nice natural eye drops of some sort. Those are, kind of find those are more available in the US than they are in the UK actually. but we can even get homeopathic eye drops I've seen from US suppliers. So yeah, and vaginal dryness, starting to see a lot more online that's available, all sorts of things. So as soon as you start to search for these things, you'll be bombarded with information. Have a look at my document first. Some very good tried and tested things there. Douches, as I say, the yoni steaming herbs are interesting. There's some herbs you can take, but definitely things like essential fatty acids, the sea buckthorn. And yeah, ask any questions below and I'll try and answer them. I've got a Q&A tomorrow at 7 p.m. So again, I'll put the link to sign up to that below. So that's Wednesday the 8th of October. And yeah, keep asking questions and we'll find some answers for you. Thanks. Bye.